So isn't it true that quantum physics requires that space be quantized at some...
Quantum, excellent question too. Quantum gravity requires that space-time be quantized, but there might not be a theory of quantum gravity. We might look deeper and deeper, and instead of finding quantum bits of space-time, we will only find pure quantum mechanics with no gravity in it whatsoever. With no gravity in it whatsoever. And that gravity emerges only out of the collective of tons and tons of these quantum interactions.
That's crazy.
So that just like water, it's like, yeah, it's crazy.
So the quantum interactions manifests as what we call gravity.
Right.
That's right.
The ensemble of H2O
manifests as water.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And the same way you would pull out a single molecule, you're not necessarily looking at water at that point.
Right.
The same thing with the... Oh,
but
my...
you
can't pull out a quantum and say, is this gravity?
Right.
Is this space-time anymore? Not a quantum and say, is this gravity?
Right.
Is this space-time anymore? Exactly.
Janet, you're saying gravity might not exist as a fundamental thing in the universe?
I'm saying gravity might not exist as a fundamental thing in the universe.
Wow.
I'm saying gravity might not exist as a fundamental thing in the universe.
Wow.
Man,
let's keep that between us.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you didn't hear that?
Here's
you didn't hear that because I don't want to turn on the internet. You know there's no such thing as gravity. Now.
Right, and now we're all floating.
Well, there's no such thing as gravity. I've heard it. Jan 11 told me. There's no such thing as gravity. Okay, I'm floating right now. You're floating too. We don't even know that we're floating.
So I would say, there is such a thing as gravity. It's just it only emerges out of the collective ensemble, and just like the temperature in this room only emerges out of the collective ensemble of bunches of particles. So another analogy I like to give is if we imagine quantum interactions or even quantum entanglement, complex things like that, is like threads sewn between quantum interactions. Out of those threads, like embroidery from a macroscopic distance, it might look like there's a black hole event horizon, for instance, out of space-time. But if I look very closely, I realize, oh, it's just sewn together quantum entangled threads, and it's not fundamentally
Janet,
based
you
on
say nothing is real.
mechanics. But if I look very closely, I realize, oh, it's just sewn together quantum entangled threads. And it's not fundamentally based on quantum mechanics. And it's not fundamentally based on quantum mechanics.
Is love real?
Yeah. Well,
love is real, but it's a thread that goes around your neck and slowly chokes you.
It's a black hole horizon.
It's a black hole in your heart that can never be filled.
It's a branch of string theory.
So, as somebody said to me recently, reality isn't overrated, but realism is.
Wow.
So there's a reality.
I think I'm entitled. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it?
Reality out there, but our attachment philosophically to realism is misplaced.
All right, I have to digest this.
Man, I'm telling you right now, this should be the end of the show, right?
No, we should all be lying down.
That's enough to think about for the next
I gotta digest
That's
it.
Insane.
Wait. So, Janet, why isn't, or might it be, why the Planck length?
Yes.
Why isn't that the quantum of space-time?
Well,
because I've read, because I try to trail behind you guys as you think about this, that I've heard that there's nothing in principle asserting that that is a quantization of space and time. It's just a convenient metric for us to talk about things that small.
Yeah.
And once I found out what it actually is, I'm like, that ain't even real. Like, let's be honest.
Well, I think what the Planck length tells you is the scale at which we really have to be concerned about these things, where the universe is behaving in a way that these questions are revealed. And until then, it's really hard to say what's going on because it's...
Okay, but that itself is not the limit of your stretchability.
Right.
No. Well, yes, I think in some sense it will tell you the scale at which these ideas break down.
You make it sound like it's setting the perspective. But so once you set the perspective, okay, and now we know, can we then say, all right, half a Planck length?
Well, what we can say is if we were living...
if you get there, and then you might be able...
get there.
Yeah, if you get there.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
If you're in the Big Bang, unhappily, and that happens at the Planck energy scale, where the energies can probe Planck lengths, you will either probably, as far as we can understand, find individual bits of space-time that are quantized via a quantum gravity description would be correct for that, or you will only find, for instance, little loops of string from string theory, and they're all they're not yet, space-time hasn't yet emerged. So I'm saying that setting the scale at which we would have to, the answer to that question is relevant.
Space-time is not even real.
I'm telling you.
Gravity's not real. Space-time's not real.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah. The answer to that question is relevant.
Space-time's not even real.
I'm telling you.
Gravity's not real. Space-time's not real.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
Well, to make it worse, even in Einstein's description.
To make it worse.
I'll cover my ears. Okay,
I'm
go.
even looking at books on your shelf that might even talk about this. So even at the scales of big astrophysics, where space-time seems to be doing really well as a description, you can rewrite the entire theory of general relativity just in terms of particle interactions. You don't have to resort to the geometry of space-time. It's my preferred language, but as we see, there's a lot of extras that are required in that description that aren't necessary. I can simply look at it like I would any particle interaction. Two particles exchange a graviton, something happens. I don't ever need to resort to the whole beautiful geometry. I like to, I prefer it, but I can cast it as what we would call a field theory just as easily. And that's how we describe matter.
Because there's no field.
Well, the gravitational field would be, it has a spin-2 particle associated with it, just like there's an electromagnetic field with a spin-1 particle.
Einstein had none of that knowledge or awareness. He's saying,
no, it has a spin-2 particle associated with it, just like there's an electromagnetic field with a spin-1 particle.
Einstein had none of that knowledge or awareness.
No,
he's saying we have curved space-time, and it worked.
And it worked beautifully.
It worked,
and
but
then,
you're saying even that is a manifestation, is a macroscopic manifestation of something more fundamental.
Yeah, you can think of that as a quantum field theory in a sense. And if you look at Steven Weinberg and the great geniuses like Feynman from that era that were developing a quantum description of matter. Really? Amazing person. An amazing,
That's not like a brag.
person. Yeah, I mean, you can brag about Steven. That's a nice association. So he showed that you can rewrite Einstein's theory of general relativity strictly in a field theory language.
Okay.
It's very nice. And so then, like, photons are replaced by gravitons, particle charges, electric charges are replaced by mass charges, and it works.